Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond Worlds Book Club edition. I'm Steven,
And I am Beyond Joe.
and this week we're going to be talking about Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. It's a book filled with assassins, gods, and doesn't hold your hand at all.
Whether you're here for our thoughts on the deep lore, the magic systems, or the bits in between, or maybe why I'm here to figure out what the heck is going on, then stick with us for this deep, deep delve into Gardens of the Moon.
Yeah, so come join us in another world. So, what did you think?
Yeah, it was my thoughts on the book changed as I read it. So obviously you'd set it up as being like this is quite a hard book, as it were, like a tricky one sometimes to follow, and a lot of people will drop off. Um, and right away, just with the names and how many pages of names and their sort of job titles and things like this, I was a bit like, oh, okay, this is going to be pretty overwhelming. Um, but I really, really enjoyed it from start to finish. I enjoyed all the little um, sub stories that were going on. Um, Obviously, it is a hard book to follow, and that's purely because of all the names, all the different characters, and the amount of backstory that exists within this world.
Yeah,
Um, However, I just found the bite-sized chunks, the different viewpoints to try and like flesh out situations to make you understand them a bit better, and just that first foot into the world building was done really, really well in this book. And it's the first time I finished a book and immediately just thought, I wish I had more time to just start this again, because I think
okay.
rereading it would be a much more interesting thing to do, just because there is so much that on a second reread you'd pick up bits that you just had missed the first time you read it. So
Yeah,
and that's
and
pretty cool.
that absolutely happened to me. To be fair, it was nice rereading it, understanding stuff from further ahead, but also there were bits I was like, "Oh, it actually did explain that." Oh, okay, cool. Like, just excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, I felt that coming. That was a horrible one. Yeah, there were just chunks. I was like, I wondered what that was when I was reading book like 2 or 3. I think it starts talking about soul taken people,
Okay, yeah.
and I just completely had not read that chapter. I assumed that they were like changeling sort of things, but I was like, no idea what the fuck they are. But that's because I just somehow had missed that entire paragraph. Um, but good, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because
Uh, a big book, one of the big ones I've read in a while. And I set myself that goal of 10% a day. So it's around about 70 pages a day, which is easier to do than I thought it would be. And like I said, just the fact that I wanted to read more really helped that. So,
nice, good, good. I that's sort of how I felt the first time I was reading. I was like, I can get why people have said that this is a tougher read, but fucking, I'm really enjoying it. I
yeah.
liked the whole sort of war aspect of it and everything like that. Yeah, it was interesting seeing sort of like the modern military sort of style in the crazy weird fantasy world. I thought it was interesting sort of concept. I don't think I've read anything like that before.
Yeah.
Not where it's like uh, it'll get described better in further books. There's not really a big like battle apart from that first one. Excuse me. And yeah, I like that it's got like the military, modern military, like explosives divisions on top of like just regular soldiers, and then you got majors and whatever as well. But you've got sappers as a major part of the military. That was pretty cool.
I think it's quite interesting as well that the book starts off by sort of showing the frailty of that that
Yeah.
you can be this amazingly powerful force, but all it takes is like two guys with hoods, who have
Yeah.
access to God, the gods, and they're gonna wipe you the fuck out with their hounds. Like that's just gonna happen, and you don't know what's happening, you don't fully understand. But by the end of the book, that first bit makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And I would. That's one of the things that got me the first time I was reading. I was like, you read that first bit, and then you read the second bit, and then you read the third bit of that first book in the book, and they're like, wait, what? And you don't really realize. I didn't really realize that like there's big time skips in between those chunks. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay, cool. Um, but yeah, it's one of my favorite series. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
yeah. Well, it's just got some amazing world building, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely, definitely.
like even from the start, as I said, that first introduction that shows the sort of the mystic side to it. You've also got Paran witnessing the like brutality of it.
Yeah,
That
uh,
it's a very dense world, and from the start, there's no holding back. He's not holding your hand while he's explaining what this world is. It's very matter of fact. You're in it. You're supposed to
yeah,
understand it, and by the end, you understand a lot. But that way of world building, I think, is very interesting. Just knowing that the depth is there if you just scratched it at the surface, it's
and sort
cool.
of the scale of things as well. They mention so many places that this, and I, and the way that he describes the empire as being an empire, and it's constantly expanding. You wonder how much territory it's actually covered and how big this place really could be. Especially when you sort of throw warrens on top of that, the
Yeah,
magic system, and like we had that little chat before about how you could travel through them. So if they're an extra plane on top of this already huge area, like how big in scale really is this
yeah,
place?
because it was a it in this book. It doesn't seem like on a planetary scale, but it doesn't matter because it's on a world scale. Like you said, there's so many
Yeah,
different levels to it, um, and it's quite complex, as we sort of said, but that is within the amount of history that he's also
mm,
created for this place. It's not just like we're getting in on day one. He's
no,
clearly pushing back, and you get glimpses of that history. You get explanations of things that have passed. But in this book, I think there are very much still glimpses and hints and
yeah, yeah, very much
teases,
so.
as opposed to being like a flashback, an Oda flashback in One Piece, where it's this is a good chunk, or like Kuma's story. It was his whole life, so you get everything,
Yeah,
all the introduction you need. Whereas in this, it is very much like glimpses into the past.
yeah, very much so. Especially when it starts talking about elder races, and when you meet Tool, and find out that he's part of one of the first three races, and they're like 300,000 years old or something like that. What? Okay, cool. Like, so civilization's been around a hot minute, and there's obviously a lot that's gone on that's all built to this one point. What's going to happen next?
Yeah, it does seem that we're getting a glimpse into a really pivotal point in the history of this
Yeah,
empire as well. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's another Saturday. This is
no,
very much there's a lot going
shit's
down,
yeah. I was gonna say shit's happening, shit's changing.
and
Out with the old, in with the new.
it's also showing you again. I talked about the frailty, but how their last emperor has gone down now. There's the Empress Lysine has taken the place, and it's
Yeah,
it you know that these positions are at risk at all times. You know that it's not like a comfortable place. They haven't been emperor for millennia. Sort of like when you get into Mistborn series, to put in another like
yeah,
that the emperor who'd been on that throne was like old, and that was where the history was. Whereas this, it's not that one person isn't the whole book. They're just part of the system, if that makes sense.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
for
They're
sure.
not a big. They're a big bad, but uh, they're not godlike, because the gods in this
Yeah,
exist, and they need help from humans and stuff. It's just clever.
yeah. I always liked how, like, with I think in God of War, it's got something like that as well. Where well, maybe not God of War. I'm thinking the old ones where the gods they're only powerful because of the amount they're praised or prayed to by humans.
Yeah.
So without that, you don't get the divinity. But
Well, yeah, because gods play a huge part in this book. They sort of, you're led to believe that everything that happens within it is in large part down to their plotting and their ploying.
yeah,
They're trying to control and puppet humanity, and we'll get into puppets in a bit. But and by using them, can gain more power. And that part, I don't fully understand the need for the humans and need for like Paran or then his sword and things like this.
I suppose it's so because maybe they can't like directly just wander about and do all those things all at the same time. They need certain influence in certain places, but
Okay.
only at certain times. So I guess they give people objects so that it's like, oh sweet, this one's coming up. Let's fuck off over there and be a influence there, and then another. Oh right, cool. It's that one's time because you can't be everywhere all at once, can you? So
No.
if you can shuffle about to like different objects that are all over the continent, if gods have got to travel through, well, I suppose it's not. Is it spoilers or is it not? I think gods travel through warrens when they need to go somewhere. They might be able to travel faster through warrens than humans can, but you know they're not like snap and I can be in this place or snap I can be in that place.
But it doesn't take them long. And that's seen in like, I think it's chapter 15, where Paran does have a meeting with, is it the Hood, the one who's in charge of the hounds? Because that's where they've got the puppet, and he's
No.
trapped.
So the hounds, they are shadow thrones.
That's it, Shadow Throne.
Hood is death,
Yeah,
basically.
because Shadow Throne turns up and is about to like fuck Paran up, and then that's when Amanda Rake rocks up, doesn't he?
Anomander.
Anomander, yeah.
His full name's it's like Anomandaris, but
Oh,
humans can't possibly pronounce his name or something like that.
but the point just being that the gods are pivotal in this, and that in all the big sort of moments, they've got a pinky in there.
But it's cool that they're not all powerful.
Mm.
Like Anomander, he can go toe to toe with pretty much any god on the planet.
Yeah,
Um, and well, I say any god, but a lot of them. Um, and there's something else called ascendants, which are like not quite gods. I don't think they've like because to be a god of something, I guess you've got to become the aspect of that thing. So maybe they're not quite there, but they've reached a certain point
yeah.
that they've touched divinity, maybe in that way. So Anomander's sort of one of them.
Okay.
He's not a god, but he's as close as you can be to being a god without being one.
Yeah, I got you. That's cool. And that that as a character, when you start the book, he seems very much like the big bad. He's in a moon. He, it's very Death Star esque. You're thinking like Vader
A
popping
little
out. He's
bit,
got crows that
except
live within the cracks of the moon that come and just
yeah,
devour. So these are all dark, like imagery sort of thing. However, that's just what you're led to believe, because at the same time, the real evil is the mages that are on the field who are taking out their own. The real evil is the certain gods who are acting in certain ways. Like, he seems to be really complex
you
in
know,
terms of the good versus evil. It's really interesting.
my first read through, I thought all the Bridgeburners and Malazan they were the bad guys.
Okay.
And I was like, what? What? This is kind of cool because I'm reading from the back, but no, it's not. It no. After watching Gundam, it's made me appreciate Malazan a bit more because it is very morally grey. You don't really know who to root for because, like, you're told a lot of the perspective of the Malazan side is from the boots on the ground soldiers who are obviously just following orders, and
Yep.
they're an expanding empire which you shouldn't be a good thing. So that in itself is morally grey, because you're like, oh man, but these guys are just sort of doing what they're told, and their story could be interesting. But on the other side, you get these crazy powerful beings protecting these towns, and they're super cool. So you kind of want them to be the good guy because they're protecting. But it sort of subverts all of that because nobody's good, nobody's bad yet, really.
No,
Well,
like,
there are some bad people in it, but
yeah, but it's within the world that they're seen as bad. So sorry, for example,
yeah,
the
even
rogue.
her though.
Well,
Yeah,
no, because
they're scared
killing
of her.
Paran for no reason. Paran did
Yeah, I
nothing wrong. Was
mean,
in the street. Was murdered. That's bad. That's a
she
naughty.
was possessed
Oh
by
yeah,
the patron Satan of assassins, you know.
but then that is the evil, the
So
bad.
it
That at that
was
point, not sorry herself. That's why I said sorry rather than what's her name end up? She changes her
Aspelor,
name. Yeah, Aspala.
Apsilor or Aspelor,
Yeah,
Apsilor, I think.
but the
Because
sorry
she
character
names
isn't
herself.
particularly
She
nice.
gets named after the goddess of thieves. So, um, but yeah, it sort of reminds me of Gundam with a. It's like, well, there is war. It's not
Yeah,
good. It's not bad. It's war.
yeah,
Um,
and I think the fact
which
that we don't
I
follow a
like.
single character throughout
Yeah,
really does help that because you're seeing all the sides, um, and at some points both sides of the same situation, like directly
yeah,
after. So I like they don't repeat. It's not like you're seeing the exact same events from someone else's point of view, but you're seeing it
yeah. I like that it
the
carries
minute.
on.
Yeah,
And then it's like panning around a shot
yeah,
and listening to the conversations going on as you pan around, but this conversation and the next conversation is all still happening, and you'll just come into it like part way through, and you'll have to use your understanding of the last conversation. They're talking about the event, and you'll have to use your understanding of the past conversation and the next conversation to figure out more of what's actually happened in the event. I really appreciate that as sort of a narrative style.
he's very eloquent. His
Mm.
descriptions are unfathomable. Like it creates, like I said, this big world and so vivid. Um, even the like the fight scenes that happen, it's all really clear what's going on.
Yeah.
You feel tension when you're supposed to. It's just um, it all adds to it. It really does.
I like that they it's crazy because so many things that I missed. Well, not missed, but because I didn't know who they were,
Mm.
I just like discounted names in the first book. Like, you know the the town was gifted the Juristan or the Daju. I'm just going to call it Daju because
Okay.
um, the main town that all the story mainly takes place in. They were gifted a clock like 1,000 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that character is real important. The person that
Well,
gives them the clock, important throughout the whole thing. And
they
my first read through, I'm like, oh, who did no amount? It doesn't matter. He's just giving some people a clock. And then the next like 4 books, he's mentioned over and over again, but I didn't remember that he was the one from the clock.
he something else he was brought. So he was brought up twice, which made me think that he was important because there was that clock point, and I can't remember when it was, and I'm scratching my head trying to think about it. But there is one other point he's re-mentioned, and that made me
Yeah,
be like, ah,
Anomander
okay,
Anomander mentions him.
yes.
So oh,
So
if a
even there,
Carrium gives you something, yeah, you fucking pay attention to it because
yes,
that guy's a bit nuts.
that was it.
Um,
Um, but yeah, just talking of characters, who's your favorite in this book?
in this book, I don't think you're with. I mean, I want to say Croup,
Okay,
the little fat dude, just because
yeah,
I
but
love how he talks.
yeah,
Um,
talks about himself in the third person.
yeah, he's great. It
But
turns out that he's like the kingpin of the town. Like,
the eel,
he, yeah. I enjoyed him because he's dumb. But Tool the
telling him us.
Talanimas. Yeah. I like him because he's a continual character. He's
Oh, cool.
carries on in the books, and I really like his character progression. And I thought it's crazy, like undead skeleton man walking around with you, and when you know, like, there's a line that Anomander says again, but when he talks, you pay attention. Being he calls Tool the first sword of his empire, which was the Amass Empire 300,000 or whatever years ago, and names and stuff have power. So you know, like with the deck of dragons,
Yeah.
like you got the Knight of Death, you got the King of Death, everything, blah 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 blah. Tool would be like the Knight of whatever house he was, where Rake is also the Knight of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah,
That's
Deck of
pretty cool.
Dragons is a cool concept having it in the book as well. Um, you can play cards and it will predict destiny. All right, cool, sweet, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
And that it actually works. I like how Creep's got it in his head. He's like, I don't need the cards because I just imagine them and it does it the same thing.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
nuts.
he's like not fully human, so I think he's part Jago.
That would
The
make sense because he can contain things within his dreams and like potentially hold
he's got a
gods
weird
down.
magic,
Like,
but I think he's also like part Emas. So I think he like Jagger and Emas hate each other.
yeah.
Like the whole you'll learn more. But so I don't want to explain much if
No,
we'll
but
go
from
into
this
the
book,
next
I know
books.
that they hate each other. They were the ones who imprisoned the Jagged, who is very important at the end of the book.
Oh no,
Um,
actually, it was Jaguts that did that to him.
oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's why he was
misunderstood
so
that.
upset. It's in part of like his little monologue about how he was he wanted power and learning from his mother that some shit and the Jaggerts don't like community, but then it turns out like a community of them came to stop him because he
Uh,
had become a tyrant. And they're the ones that put him in the barrow.
cheeky.
Yeah, death magic is super important in this as well. Weirdly,
Well, my favourite character would be Quick Ben. I liked
Ben's
his
sweet.
progression within this book. I liked the mystery surrounding him. Um, I
Ben's
thought
sweet.
the way he acted at all times was above board, and the way he tricks a god is pretty cool. Or even though
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
fully understand the tricking, the fact he did it is like, well, that's pretty
So
badass.
he basically used to be a disciple of, um, like
Shadow Throne.
yeah, basically it used to be. It'd be like being a monk, and
Yeah.
then be like, yeah, no, I'm not a monk anymore. Bye. But like for a spooky god, there's no going away from them. No, 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 it's for life.
Yeah.
So if you want to leave, no more life. That sort of thing. Who
So,
who else is sweet? I mean, Whiskey Jack doesn't say a lot, but I have immense respect for. Like
mm,
even just with just the short amount that the short amount he spoke, and the short amount of description there is about him. The fact that he was like super general back in the day, and then just like, nah, not anymore, and he's still going, and like the super general now is still like defer to him, be like, I know I'm in charge, but you're like low rank now, but we're gonna have a
eh.
chat about this. And calling each other up on their undead arm thing.
Oh, that was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the little throw-ins of magic like that.
Oh man, just wait. It does some good setup for the next like couple of books as well, because this is basically what Gardens of the Moon is. Gardens of the Moon is the prologue to the entire series. He basically wrote an entire book as a prologue to all the events that are going to be happening throughout the whole book, whole series, even because it talks. There's little snippets about the seven cities being in revolt, and that's going to be one of the big plot lines. Then it mentioned, if you recall, the Panian Seer.
Yeah.
That's a major plot point of a later book after the next one, I think. And then there's some other bits. There's some characters that you're introduced to, just like super briefly, that are big central characters later on. But the main characters are the ones that the main story of Gardens of the Moon takes place around. So like Caucus, he'd be super recurring.
Okay.
Absolar will be
Cool.
super recurring. The Bridgeburners, Paran, um, and then you'll get to book 5, and then they won't be here. Not I'm not saying that they'll be dead. They might be dead. They might not be dead. But it's just like then there's like, oh, by the way, here's 30 new people that the story's going to evolve now as well. Uh, that threw me a little bit. I was like, wait, am I reading the right book?
So it works as a really good starting point for the series as a whole.
Yeah, and the plot threads do continue really nicely, while also introducing new plot threads that are going to be important for that book and for the future as well. Um, 'Cause it's sort of like One Piece in
Mm.
the like arcs and sagas sort of way of Oda's storytelling, where you'll have the saga, which I for Malazan I guess would be the whole book, but with the whole book series. But there's arcs within the whole series of Malazan, and then there's the individual stories of each book at the same
Yeah,
time. So it's like 3-4 levels of storytelling, which is pretty cool.
that is awesome. So it seems like a really cool series. I'm definitely excited. And part
We're
of it is to
definitely not
learn.
we're
We'll go.
definitely not reading book 2 for my next book.
Well, part of it is like to learn more about that magic system because the Warrens, how they all have different types, how they all seem
Yeah,
to be governed by different people. You have for most of the book, Hairlock, the puppet. Is that right? Hairlock's the puppet.
yeah. He was the mage.
Um,
He was the mage that got chopped in half and then soul transferred, which was some ancient hidden magic tech that Quick Ben somehow knew.
yeah, so into a puppet who then traverses the Warrens of Chaos.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% what he was aiming to do. That's something that doesn't I didn't get. Just
So
fuck shit up
a
and shoot
concept.
birds.
Oh, I can't remember what they call it. There's a concept that mages have, which in this, which gets spoken about more about later in the series, but it's I can't remember the exact line that they call it. Something in the hole, but it's basically like your plan Z
Okay,
sort of thing. So Hairlock was their plan Z, I think. That was the whole point of him. Like there's a lot of subtle subterfuge in this, which Erikson doesn't really go into because it's meant to be a mystery, I think. And I think so. The whole situation with Quick Ben and Shadow Throne, I think that is the whole reason that um, Ben brought Hairlock back was to
to piss off Shadow
eventually
Throne to
use
then use
him.
him to get out.
Yeah,
Fuck, that's clever. That would make
there's
sense.
a might be wrong. But there's probably some other reasons for it, but I think that was ultimately the reason that he was around. You let him go a bit crazy, and maybe the Chaos Warren. So Warrens are like next to each other. So if you've got access to one Warren, the two there'll be say a few around yours, which well, not that they could. I don't know. There might be influence between them. So if your Warren's close to another one, someone might be able to. It might be like fire and wind, you know. So like wind will pick up the fire and not be excuse me so great. So someone that can access a wind Warren against a fire Warren wouldn't be so good. It's like stat levels. I don't know. There could be stuff like that, and chaos. You won't know much about chaos yet. Um, the chaos is like a Warren that shouldn't be.
Okay.
So because he was using chaos and chaos in the best thing I can describe it. It'd be like the blind eternities of magic. So the space between planes. I think I might not be right here, but by using that Warren and being close to and because I imagine Hairlock's Warren was maybe I don't know what it was, but he might have been able to access a couple. Um, by going between chaos and another realm and another Warren, you create holes where chaos can seep into that Warren. So if he was doing that a lot in the Shadow one, Shadow Throne would have been like, bro, this is getting annoying. Stop
Yeah,
it.
that
I don't
makes
want this
sense.
anymore. And he wouldn't have liked unannounced guests.
Yeah.
He's that sort of guy, that sort of god. That's why he's
Um,
got all the doggies.
Another of my favorite characters who can't sort of access warrens, but it seems to spend a lot of time in them, Paran. He reminded me whenever it would be like him in charge, his chapter, my brain would go to MC and Delicious in Dungeon, the blonde guy who has
Yeah,
the sword with all the like the little creature living inside it, the symbiote thing. That's Paran just reminded me of him. I just saw him, especially with the like funky sword. But
yeah.
there's the point where he goes into Rake's sword, and that's just
Oh
such
yeah.
like a. I thought that would be so important down like within the book, and it just didn't
Not
seem to be. Um,
not yet.
but
You
that
got a
was,
few books to get to that.
but that was
It does
crazy.
get there. It does
He
get there.
he enters the warren
It is
within a
important.
sword, which if you're killed by this sword, you get chained up within it,
Yeah,
and
you don't even die.
no,
Your soul is in that sword forever.
well, or is it? Because Paran seems
Well,
to have found a way to
to
excavate
get
a soul.
yeah, but I think because they went into the wall that they were chained to, right? I think I don't know, there was some fuckery happened there, and because there was got to be some luck involved in that as well,
Yeah,
for sure. I think.
but he didn't have luck with him at the or did he have the sword with him in there? I can't remember
Well,
because it
he'd
left
had the
him.
sword already, but I guess because he was like the touch of the fortune gods upon him,
Yeah.
wasn't he? So
Um. But yeah, I thought that bit was nuts. And it felt very anime. It felt very
yeah, that was pretty MC manga.
and it kind of, if I had to be like, okay, pick a main character, I think it might be Paran because Paran seems to
He
touch on Paran is not the main character. There isn't one. But if I had to
he
force one in
he
there,
he sort of is. There isn't one main character of Malazan, but he is definitely one of them, and one of the more important ones.
yeah, I got that.
Him and weirdly Fiddler. I think I said this before. Fiddler is weirdly one of the main characters of the whole thing,
See,
even
and I
though he
can't even
doesn't really do
recall
much in
Fiddler
the first book. He was
because
one of the
Mallet heals,
sappers.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was Hedge and Fiddler were the two sappers.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
were doing all the stuff with the explosives,
explosives.
and Fiddler was weirdly always there with Whiskey Jack when he was having an important moment.
Mm.
Which so go to yeah, Fiddler's important. He's funny. He's a great character. He goes through so many ups and downs, man. I feel bad for that guy. No, but his story is very satisfying.
It's the whole thing is satisfying. The whole book. Um, and I love dangly threads that are left. And
Yeah,
this book is a book of dangly threads. But it is,
has still has the complete story within
yeah,
it as well,
it's
though, which is still
self-contained for what it
a
is.
good story,
Yeah,
and teaches you sort of more about how the Empire operates. Because I mean, from the Empire side of things,
mm.
they wanted to get in touch with the Assassin's Guild, didn't they? To pay them to kill all the nobles in the town. So they're like,
Yes.
well, we can come and take it over, and we'll run things. It's fine. Don't worry. Look, no bloodshed, no war. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a clever way to do things.
No, it
Get the
is.
civilians behind you, especially if they don't like the ruling class or whatever.
I'm trying to think if I had any more questions that I thought you might be able to help with. The thing is, as I was about three-quarters away, halfway through, I had so many questions,
Mm,
but the book did do a good job of like explaining enough that I felt
yeah.
full. Like, there's
Good.
definite points that I can see being explained in more detail later on. Knowing it's a part of a massive series is good because I like to be able to tidy
Well,
those pieces up.
I will be picking book 2 and 3 as my next two books. So, if you want to just start reading them in the background,
Well,
by all
there's
means, we can
these
talk about
books
them
aren't. There's
early.
one thing I would say. I wouldn't say these are background reading. I wouldn't say it's sort of thing that you could read
No,
easily two
it's
books
yeah,
at a time. Concentrate on it. Spend your time.
there's too many
Um,
names.
it. I think it's really important to touch on that difficulty aspect of it and the thing that may put people off, and that often does. And like you said, in your
it
experiences put people off.
it does just throw you in the deep end and be like, oh, you swim. Come on, it's
Yeah,
not hard. Swim.
but
If you trust the process, it works. I
yeah,
think if you go into it trying to understand everything, you're not going to have a good time. If you're that sort of book reader, and that's what I was worried about, because I generally am. I'd be like, no man, what happened? Why did we? I wouldn't have been able to get past why Whiskey Jack is now a sergeant. Like, what happened? What was the story there? There is no story there. No, I looked, but um, if you go into it with that as your main focus, I can see why you wouldn't enjoy it. But if you just go in and trust the process, don't worry that you won't understand some names. You will have a great time because it's a really, really good book.
yeah, and that's what I say. Like, I personally wouldn't say this is a difficult book. There are difficult books out there, and I'd say a difficult book are books that sort of lack a bit more of that story, if that makes sense. Like,
Okay,
this is still
fair.
really story driven. There's still easy things to follow. It's not using a whole different language. All the key characters have names that are rememberable. Like, I'm shocked by the amount that I remember.
Yeah,
Me and people listening know how much I'm always like, oh, what was the name? And maybe I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I haven't had to say them out loud before. Uh, but I I generally know who these people are. I think I get
I've read
confused with
up
the
to book 10.
Alchemist.
I still don't know half of their names. I still can't pronounce any of their names correctly, so don't worry.
But they are like Tattersail, Crocus. These are Crocus. These are
Yeah,
Croup, who keeps saying his own name over and over. All these, sorry, like these are names that are Aspelar. They're easy to sit in your head.
yeah,
And that's clever. It's not like, although I was about to say it's not like it's Ben, Emma, but there is a Ben, but he's Quick Ben. So
yeah. With the what? Quick Ben.
yeah,
So, and his real name is Benjamin Adafololus Delat or something like that. So yeah, Quick Ben.
yeah.
And there it does actually in later books does explain how he gets that name.
Well, I thought I read at one point, and I think that's where I then misunderstood it, that all the Bridgeburners, which I read as Bridge Runners for the first like chapter or so, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm misreading this. But they were bird names. That's what I thought to begin with.
Bird names.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere that they all had bird names,
No,
but no.
no.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where I saw that.
There's a whiskey jack bird? Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I think there is a bird called the Whiskey Jack.
Oh, maybe. Who
Right,
knows?
I need to find out now. Is there such a bird as a Whiskey Jack? But while I do that, was there any favourite moments of the book for you? Stand
Um,
out.
I th- not not really. I enjoyed the journey between the adjunct Lawn and Tool, the like just the back and forth that they had, and her sort of like figuring out, oh man, this like 1,000 year undead thing's kind of clever and pretty cool. Like, damn, this guy's kind of interesting. What the fuck? This is weird. Like, I enjoyed the dynamic between them two. And I was it was almost like it wasn't comedic relief, but it felt akin to it almost. It wasn't just. It wasn't like funny moments, but it was like you're just walking next to this thing that will never heal, but is just like bones and skin and furs hanging off him. And he's giving you some like proper worldly knowledge, but it doesn't look, it doesn't feel right, but it is right, and it's I don't know. Yeah, that dynamic I thought was super cool.
No, it is a brilliant bit and a very memorable character because of it, right?
Yeah, Tool is banging. He's Unos Tulan is what I named my character in Brighter Shores when I he's the guy I named my character in that MMO on. Oh,
Oh, I'm excited to see what happens with him and learn more about the race. Um, but yeah, my favorite is that the whole bit with the hounds coming for what's his name? Not Whiskey Hairlock. When the hounds come for
oh yeah, yeah,
Hairlock
yeah.
and Quick Ben is holding him in place, and we get Shadow Throne, we get Anomander Rake, we get Paran, we then get inside the sword. Like, that's a lot happening in a short
Yeah.
amount of time. And for that book, it doesn't tend to do a lot
There's
in a
not,
short amount.
yeah, there's not a lot of like action heavy moments,
Yeah.
but when they happen, they are, yeah, they're there and done. But there's a lot that happens.
I didn't expect him to get pulled into the sword when he touched the hound. I didn't expect
Yeah.
that. I thought that was done for. So just that little additional bit and world building, the fact that like this is the point we learn that Rake can take out a god or threaten a god. We don't see him take anyone out, but the assumption's there,
Well,
isn't
I
it?
mean, later on he takes out that demon lord king thing, didn't he? Like, and although it wasn't a particularly easy fight for him, he doesn't really. There's nothing that suggests that at any point was in any danger.
No.
He says, "Oh yeah, this could go badly for me," or some little like throwaway line like that. So he was in danger, but he was never in danger. You
No.
know, it seemed like he was more in danger because Caucus was around and didn't want to hurt him, sort
Yes.
of thing.
Which tends to be the thing
Crocus
with
Caucus.
powerful characters, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just the fact that he turned into a fat dragon.
Yeah, because that had me as well. I was like, wait, is that his? Is he using magic or is that him? I had
So
him.
he's soul taken as well. So he's got. Well, yeah, he can turn into a dragon.
That's so fucking sick.
Anyone that can turn into another animal, they're soul takens or Deveres. That are just like more
Oh,
powerful versions. I think Deveres can like they could become like so soul taken. You could become like a single animal. So you could transform into a bear. Deveres say you could transform into a pack of wolves. So you could split your soul more. I think that's what they can do.
that's fucking nuts, man.
So you
This
could like
power.
there's one crazy one later in the book that transforms into like a swarm of like evil flesh eating insects or some shit
Uh,
or something along those lines. Or like maybe massive bees or hornets or something.
that's mental.
Yeah, it's kind of cool one.
Is a very good book, and like I said, very excited for the series to come.
Sweet, cool. Well, we'll be reading book 2 and 3 soon.
So yeah, this will be our first book series that we've done. We've done some, looks deep dives into game series. So if you liked this, come back. If you're joining after seeing one of those, hiya, welcome. This is the Beyond Worlds Book Club. You've probably
We
gathered
like
that
books.
for the past 40 minutes or so. But what we do when we come to end of episode, first of all, we just check with each other. Is there anything else you want to add, Stephen, on this great book that you chose?
Don't think so. Prepare to cry in the next one.
I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. But the other thing we do at the end of the episode is we look at the next book. And I'm now seeing where
Yeah,
mine
I
is.
didn't want to ask what it was. I wanted the surprise.
1 second, we'll grab it.
Shout out to Keith and Bell. Hi, Keith. Hi, Bell. Thanks for listening.
And just like that, with the magic of editing, I'm back. And
Oh no, you got to keep that bit in. Sorry.
and with the lack of magic of editing, but with Stephen saying something, I'm back. And this is the next book. A great name, guy, Joe Abercrombie. The book is called The Devils. And annoyingly, after I picked this up, I found out that it was being made into a TV series. So maybe this will be the one that kicks us out of the stratosphere because everyone wants to know what happens in The Devils. Yeah, guy called Joe Abercrombie, and can I get to somewhere so we know what it's about?
Oh,
Yeah.
So I've been meaning to read some of this guy's books. So cool.
Sick.
The Blade. There's one of his older series, The Blade itself, First Law or something like that, is meant to be super mega, and it's been one of the ones I'm meant to pick up.
Very cool. Well, if this one's good, perhaps we'll do that. So this is what it says about the book. Plague and famine stalk the land. Monsters lurk in every shadow, and greedy princes care for nothing but their own ambitions. Sometimes only the darkest paths lead towards the light, paths on which the righteous will not dare to tread. And so, buried beneath the sacred splendour of the celestial palace, is the secret chapel of the Holy Expendency. For its congregation of convicted monsters, there are no sins that have not been committed, no lines that will not be crossed, and no mission that cannot be turned into a disastrous bloodbath. Now the hapless brother Diaz must somehow bind the worst of the worst to a higher cause to put a thief on the throne of Troy and unite the sundered church against the coming apocalypse. So this reminds me, just reading that, of, well, that's not Justice League. What's the DC Suicide Squad? Basically,
Oh,
sounds like
okay.
Suicide Squad. A bunch of baddies trying to go and do something good. But yeah,
Okay.
I've heard really good
Yeah,
things
yeah.
about it. So
Yeah, he's meant to be a very good writer. So yeah,
cool cover.
solid pick.
Yeah, I
No
think
job.
unfortunately it is another chunky book.
It's fine, bro. We'll blow through it. 10% a day,
Yeah,
easy.
annoyingly I've got
So
this
now what
on
you could do is
physical,
15% a day. Ah, well, you know.
so now I have to count page numbers, so I actually know I'm falling behind and stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah, just 70 pages a day, bro. You can do it. Keep up these. Oh,
Yeah,
let
these are
me.
big pages, man. But
Okay,
I'll have to
go.
get it done. And so join us for that. That'll be our next Beyond Worlds book club. But obviously, as you know, there are Beyond Worlds podcasts between the book clubs, where we deep dive into video games that we've been playing and the like. We've played quite a bit of Firebreak, so maybe if we play some more hard missions on that, we'll get into that.
The next Malazan's book's longer than the last one.
What? How many pages is the next Malazan book?
836.
Okay.
10% a day, Joe.
Well, yeah, that's even more then.
Maybe you could do 7% a day.
Well, that's
Can
a
you just stretch it out a
odd
bit?
number. I don't like odd numbers.
8% a
Yeah.
day.
Which would be about the same as the last one. So
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. It's round number as well.
Ah, big books for big podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. Until next
Yeah.
time, I've been Beyond Joe,
And I'm Steven. Thank you.
and thanks for joining us.
In this fucked up, spooky, weird world, dragons, ice monsters, zombies, all sorts.